know your perspective on this matter. The perspective we're getting here in a short while is that of Kennedy Wangari, who's a data scientist. He has been on the show before. I keep saying that. If you go to YouTube and type Biashara Tuesday Kennedy Wangari, I'm sure you'll get a couple of those ones. And he's an award-winning data scientist and also a developer advocate. He's building better data products and informing intelligent biodiversity and climatic change policy development at UNEP. We're going to hear what his work has been like at UNEP, but also what is the impact of AI on jobs and the future of work? What are some of the actual physical and verifiable use cases in Kenya where artificial intelligence is being used, and how can you adopt it to your small scale business, work, or day-to-day activities? That's the conversation that's happening here. We'll be right back. All right, artificial intelligence. Let me read the definition, yeah? The definition of artificial intelligence here according to the Webster dictionary. The theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translating between languages. Artificial intelligence is a field which combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. I have a data scientist with me here. Welcome to the show again. Karibu tena sana.
Great, thank you so much. Always an honor and happy to be here.
I think it's been 2 years or so, right? Since we sat here together on the show. So welcome back. For the guys who are watching you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself to them?
Great, thank you so much. My name is Kennedy Wangari. I'm a data scientist working with the United Nations Environment Program. More to that, I'm a developer advocate supporting deep learning.ai efforts in Africa. That's ensuring that our communities have access to world-class knowledge, research tools, and are able to build towards the AI workforce and are able to upskill themselves in this AI-powered future. So besides my day-to-day work that's helping support policy design and development on climate and biodiversity matters at UNEP and building data science products, that's what I do on the side, supporting and strengthening developer communities.
All right. Last when we were here on the show, you were strengthening and supporting developer communities that were centered around universities in Kenya. Back then, I think it was around JKUAT and the community in Nairobi. And now we're taking it to the UK. Tell us about that.
The last 2 years, from the last time I was here, we've experienced even at within our country great progress, great milestone towards adoption of artificial intelligence solutions and also having the public being aware of these emerging technologies. So we've experienced a lot in terms of being able to solve our social and economic problems. A good example is also on the aspect of the developer communities. Now we have more vibrant communities. Back the time we were just having conversations around building communities within the universities. Now we're talking of even having accelerator programs. We have Moringa School, we even have universities such as Strathmore, USIU, JKUAT now having master's programs, basically to bridging that gap to ensure that we're all able to access these data science and machine learning knowledge. And beyond that, even at government level, we've been able to experience a lot of milestones from even having the Office of the Data Commissioner. The last time I was here, we didn't have such an office.
That's true.
There's also the awareness programs and also a lot of initiatives on policies to ensure how are we collecting our data, how are we utilizing our data. So from the government perspective, there's also a lot that has been done on legislation, policy framework to basically ensure that we have a conducive, thriving environment. At company levels, again, most companies now we're talking of funding. If you even look at the recently launched or released rather Global Government AI Readiness Index Report 2022, we're yet to get to have access to the Global AI Access Readiness 2023 report. But then we look at Kenya, it has been positioned at position 4 in terms of its readiness towards adoption intelligence. So we can see that, and even also at organizational level, there's a lot in terms of funding. We're looking at a lot of startups pitching their tents in Kenya, a lot of Kenyan-based startups that are leveraging on artificial intelligence, and even others. I was even having a chat with someone who's building a startup that's leveraging on ChatGPT and its solutions. So in terms terms of even at company level, we have a lot of funding being channeled to Kenya from global level, at country level. We even have during Jamhuri Day, there were a lot of promises that the president made, from even accessing knowledge, would go on and gave a lot of progress and milestones that we've made as a country towards, one, upskilling our people, towards ensuring we have the infrastructure in place, towards research and development. And even an exciting thing is that we hoping, there's already work in progress behind the scenes to ensure that in this new month of May, that we have the Kenya National Center for Research in Robotics and Artificial Intelligence coming up. So would go on and give an account of what has taken place in the last 2 years.
Quite exciting developments.
Great milestones towards how do we adopt artificial intelligence locally in Kenya, and how do we now think about solving our problems in data-driven ways, and even also at communities. So you see now the conversation has really changed from just supporting communities to learn, to even now getting the support from government level, at organizational level, and it's quite amazing.
Right, it's quite amazing. But it's also quite amazing for you on a personal level, which is, I was talking about there, you are on the road to pursuing your master's in this very specific field. Tell us about that, and how do you feel?
Again, for me, at a personal level, it's been a marathon sprint. 4 years ago, I had my first taste of artificial intelligence at NCBA Bank. Also went through my degree program at JCOT, and also the work that we've been doing supporting the developer community at the university, and now transitioned to the African continent. I would say my journey has been an exciting one, full of its share of learning, its share of failures, its share of milestones. And I'm excited that personally, I've never stepped into a formal class to study data science or artificial intelligence.
This is not something you were lectured?
I only had one unit in second year, and already by the time I was having that unit, I had already done my data science internship at NCBA, so I'd already been exposed to the world of data. And I would say it's quite an amazing opportunity, because I've walked the other way around. Most of us conventionally tend to first seek the intellectual knowledge in school, and then move into the industry to apply their skills. But for me, I've leveraged on any available resources around me, from community building and working with communities, leveraging on courses online, and all these working on with various companies, building my craft on data science internships, and all those other contributions on open source data projects. And all these, I would say, they've greatly helped me to build a portfolio that has enabled me to get to a point where I've realized what are my interests, my specific research interests. And I felt it best that the only way to achieve that I would have to go through a formal school and get a more advanced dosage of artificial intelligence, and that informs how I started looking out in the last 1 year for a master's program, specifically on natural language processing, because my research interest is on neural machine translation languages, specifically on Kenyan languages. And this is because I'm informed because of in our country we have 68 native languages, and there's not much considerable work that has been done on availing digital language resources. Again, we're talking of ChatGPT today, which is leveraging on human-like text to maybe to give you prompt responses to help you achieve your tasks. But for me, I'm mainly looking at how do we ensure that we provide digital resources from policy findings, from research findings on the 68 national native languages that we have, to ensure that our people can be able to take part in digital conversations in their own native languages, because my main focus is on the financial sector. So I would say it's been a journey of one, getting to take up data science and online courses, walking through that journey, getting access, getting opportunity to apply data science skills in the industry, in the finance, fintech, and environment space, currently at UNEP. And all these informed my interest that I would want to specialize in a particular area. And I think all that has informed my journey towards now seeking a master's, seeking funding, and now at a point now where I'm working towards relocating to start my master's in September at the University of Edinburgh. So it's been a journey of building my craft, learning, supporting the community, gathering feedback from the community, and at the same time also applying my skills in the various industries and the opportunities that I've had.
Moving from the industry and then to academia. That's quite an unconventional path, definitely. How would you describe artificial intelligence then to someone who has no technical background whatsoever?
Great. When we talk of artificial intelligence in layman's term, we define as basically programming or creating a computer application or a mobile application that simulates the human intelligence capabilities. And in this case, we're talking of from the machine vision, how human being is able to perceive something and make a decision, and also looking at the natural language processing capabilities of a human being, how you're able to speak or to write something, being able to infuse the human intelligent capabilities from natural language processing, voice processing, and encoding all this in an application that will ensure that you're able to have access to get data-driven decision-making process or data-driven decisions out of that application. So you feed in the data in that particular application that has been coded, and it's able to inform you on data-driven insights. So basically, layman's term is basically building an application. You can build it from scratch, or you can now use ChatGPT that now enables you to just write a few prompts and you have an application. But basically, that application mimics human intelligence capabilities.
Right. You've mentioned that ChatGPT, of course, being one of those chatbot technologies which are based off of artificial intelligence. And when I prompt it, like right now, I just asked it, what should I ask Kennedy about AI in Kenya? And it's told me to ask you, what is your opinion on the impact of AI on job creation in Kenya? So when I see something like this, and that's a question which it spit out 10 of these, 10 similar questions, I won't be using them, of course not so relevant with the discussion, but it still does something, right? It still does something. As a journalist, if I was going to write a script, to still do a script for me. If I was trying to create a YouTube video, it will still give me that. If I wanted a recipe to cook, I will get that from some of these chatbots, which are at this point being developed by several big tech companies, and not just ChatGPT. We have Bard by Google, and we have others who will be definitely bringing forth theirs. What should we be scared? From an expert's point of view, there's a writer out there who's looking at this, and they are going crazy because now someone can write a whole book of a chatbot. What happens to my work? Should we be scared, and how can we adjust?
Great. That's a key concern to most, if not all of us. That is artificial intelligence coming in to replace our jobs or to replace us, or is it coming in to complement and to work alongside us, or is it really coming to replace us from our jobs? And all these concerns are amidst coming at a time because artificial intelligence has already, as of now, we've already seen some of the promising benefits and what artificial intelligence can really help us to solve when it comes to addressing the social economic problems. And we've seen the benefits from how we're able to improve our revenue, how we're able to reduce on our operation costs. We'll go on and talk of the promising benefits of artificial intelligence and how it's enabled us to improve productivity. But then we have concerns about, is it really coming in to replace us from our jobs, and what's the future of our work? And what I would say, what I think and I'm looking forward to is that artificial intelligence has really disrupted the labor markets. We've seen sort of those traditional roles, I wouldn't really call them traditional, but some of the roles are getting redefined. We're getting some of these roles, maybe let's say in some areas such as customer service, let's say maybe in the traditional way of bookkeeping, in HR, in almost every sector. Those are redundant roles that will become redundant with now automation coming in.
What happens to me as now a redundant employee? Will it be possible for me to adjust knowing that this is coming?
That's why there's need for us to, almost in every field, to capitalize on the human skills. And the reason for that is because as much as we're advocating for the adoption of artificial intelligence, you realize that artificial intelligence applications don't have the emotional intellect or the abstractive general. They cannot be able to tell between true or false. And as much as we every day we're generating in correct data that we're going to feed into these algorithms, there'll still be need for us as human beings to upskill ourselves on those human creative skills, such as creative skills, problem solving, emotional intelligence. These are skills that we'll still need them, because at some point, as much as we're building all these applications, we are projecting towards a future that we call artificial superintelligence. This is where at a level we envision that we'll have a future where AI will fully take over human beings. But before we get there, we'll still need, even as of now, when you're using ChatGPT, you realize at times it gives you wrongful information, errors. So we'll still need human beings to still fine-tune and work along with these applications. And that now brings us to the whole conversation of what's rising now, that what we call augmented intelligence, in that will not replace the human being. We'll still have human beings who will work side by side, basically working pair by pair with these applications, guiding these applications. If it's ChatGPT, on how you're prompting it, the responses, guiding the machine output. So we'll still need human beings, but again, these human beings have to have those human creative skills, because if you don't have those skills, then already your tasks have already been automated by the application. So we'll still need human beings to work side by side with these applications. That's what we call augmented intelligence. That collaboration will be there, and we'll see more of that. And as all this happens, as human beings, there's need for us in almost every field to capitalize on these human skills that will still be commercial. And for us to realize that we're yet to get to the level where artificial superintelligence will take over from us. And to ensure that as we build along, there is also the concerns on the ethical issues that's also arising, and probably maybe later we look at, besides us building towards upskilling ourselves on the technical skills and improving on our human skills so that we can work side by side with these applications. What are the ethical concerns? What should we look at? Because again, AI has also already shown us there's the good side and the bad side.
Right. Yeah. And of course, the bias or ethical concerns come from the data that it's been trained on. Of course, for them to create such a, for example, a chatbot like this one, collecting what human beings interact like on the internet, memes, text, tweets, and Facebook posts, and all of that. And this is all data, right? You are a data scientist. First, how do we differentiate a data scientist and a data analyst? Is there a difference between these two, or is it basically the same role?
There's a thin line. And I think the thin line comes in when we talk of data science. We're looking at more of we're looking at how do we collect our data, how do we process our data, how do we analyze our data, how do we distill insights from that data, and then we move beyond. That's what basically much of data analysis is all about. You basically exploring methods and techniques on how we're able to collect our data from our customers, how we either storing it in our databases or from social media, how we processing it, how we analyzing it, whether it's HR data, whether from whichever department, and then how we able to either build dashboards that will give us insights, how we able to tell and convey our stories from the data. That's purely what data analysis is all about. But then data science builds another layer on top that now informs us to help us to anticipate the future. And by that, that's now where we leverage on what we call predictive modeling. This is where we now, our algorithms comes in, that we now have to feed the data that we've analyzed and processed to now ask ourselves, how can we be able to anticipate the future? How can we plan the future? What is the data telling us about the future? And what do we need to put in place in terms of now, that's where we're looking at how do we plan for the future and opportunities that we can, and this is where examples such as a credit scoring modeling, you can have the analysis of how maybe your customers borrowed loans for this particular month. That's maybe a bit of data analysis. But then if now you want to take it a step further on which customers are going to take up loans next month and which customers are going to opt out or not pay the loans. So that's the aspect of predictive modeling. That's now where the second layer of data science would come in, with a bit of modeling, and that's where machine learning supports that. So there's a lot of layers, because above that we have machine learning, deep learning, and the field is evolving.
So it is depth, and it's deep, and it's evolving. For someone who wants to hop onto this evolving sector of the economy, which is technology all across the world, are there some skills? As someone who went through the industry and now is trying to pursue academia, what should I do if I want to pursue any career or any professional path that is related to artificial intelligence? What would you advise someone to do?
Great. That's a great question. One, I believe in almost every field that we're generating data. And that means that in whichever field you're in, from healthcare, transport, cybersecurity, from whichever field, if you generating data, there's need for us to be data literate, and that's why even from the government level to company level to at community level, we are creating that awareness to ensure that people, one, are aware of these emerging technologies, which artificial intelligence is one of them, and so that they can be able to understand what are its limitations. How does it affect my line of work? If I'm a HR professional, what does artificial intelligence mean to my area of work? What's HR analytics? How do I need? So basically, first of all, having that conversation to understand these emerging technologies, and also understanding what are its limitations in my field of work, and then now moving up to explore what training opportunities, programs that are there that you can upskill yourself. And that's why I'm always passionate to explore more training opportunities to support our underrepresented communities, because even for me, when I started out, I got an opportunity through NCBA to a one-year scholarship to study at Coursera, and that gave me a whole exposed me to the world of data science and artificial intelligence. So there's need for us to, one, leverage opportunities that are there to train ourselves, either at company level, either at either to look at online resources. We mentioned that even at currently now we have academia and institutions that already now have degree and master's programs, JQuat, USAU, Strathmore. We have boot camps such as Moringa School and other tech accelerator programs. So there's need for us to look at what opportunities that are there that I can train myself to be more data literate within my area. And more to that, there's also need to involve yourself with professional communities within your field. If it's, let's say, maybe you in sales and marketing, we have the Institute of the marketers in Kenya. If you look at some of the sessions that they're having, they're more data-related sessions. So being involved also in professional communities within your industry will also expose you to keep updated, and also because most of these communities are having these data-related conversations, because again, as we mentioned, in almost every field we're generating data, and there's need for us to think on how we're maximizing value out of this data. So one is the push for us to upskill ourselves, because if we don't adapt to thrive in the future workforce, we'll all be obsolete. And not just robots, well, robots will take a bit of will replace us, and those of us who will have upskilled in the human skills will also be able to take up our jobs. So there's need for us to upskill ourselves, leverage what the resources that are around you, either online, or if you have access to formal education,
you do that.
Do that.
Okay, that's right. Thank you very much, Kennedy Wangari there. Through deep learning AI, Kennedy is building equitable and empowered AI technology communities and a robust talent pipeline in Africa that is inclusive, equipped with the right tools and knowledge to ethically build and deploy AI systems that will benefit everyone. He says that you should be taking advantage of the opportunities around you, leverage that, and upskill, and also be updated of these emerging technologies. You're afraid that technology will replace you at your work, but what about the guys, human beings who will have upskilled and will be replacing you as you wait and fear about all these emerging technologies? Thank you very much, Kennedy, for having this conversation with us today.
Great, thank you.
Maybe
so much.
just lastly to our viewers, how do you feel artificial intelligence is going to impact our social and economic problems? Because Kenya is quite unique, right? And you've been able to see how this works at Safe Border, at NVIDIA, at UNEP. You know, these are very different sort of fields. This is climate, this other one is transportation, and this other is a bit of tech. Maybe just to cap in one paragraph, few sentences on this camera here, how you feel that is going to impact our society in Kenya, and then a call to guys to adopt and to move along with AI.
Great.
Yes.
Kenya has been ranked as the regional hub for ICT in Africa. And what that means, we've been able to have a lot of efforts being channeled towards adoption of emerging technologies, and also making Kenya as the global ICT hub. And as a country, I would encourage us, almost every state and non-state factors, let's play our role in our role from the government. Let's ensure we have a conducive legislation and working in place to ensure we're supporting our organizations to in innovation and development on AI-related startups and enterprises. At the general public, there's need for us to upskill ourselves. Let's explore opportunities at company level, at individual level. Must be part of the communities. Let's upskill ourselves. Let's learn, and above all, let's build innovatively with artificial intelligence. For companies, let's explore our data maturity levels. Let's rethink on how we bring in new talents. Let's also look at how we put in place data-driven workflow processes, and how we can improve our operations, and collectively we'll be able to solve our social, economic, and political problems in data-driven ways. Already we've seen developed and Western countries already making great progress, and there's need for us to also ride with the wave of artificial intelligence, and to ensure we have support, more so from the government. And above all, let's continue learning. Let's explore creative ways we can combine our skills, and let's build towards this AI-powered future, and explore how we can solve our social and economic problems for just, sustainable, a peaceful, and a successful future that involves the youth.
Thank you very much, Kennedy.
Thank you so much.
I hope to see you again.